여러분, 저는 여러분의 한국어 친구들 합니다. Okay, so today we are gonna do a language tag. I am so pumped. This is my first language tag ever, so I'm just really excited. So Kitty Cat Studies actually tagged me in this language tag on Instagram a while back, and I remember seeing it, screaming like, ah! And then being like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. I'm able to express myself better on camera than in an Instagram description. Those take me forever to write. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so question number 1. What do you consider to be your native language? That one's easy. English. Question number 2. What was your first language learning experience? Okay, so for me, I was 11. I was in middle school. I was like a 6th grader. I went to the book fair at my school and I saw this beautiful Chinese book. I don't know why. I had never considered language learning before, but I saw this book, and like the CD is supposed to be right here. But I saw this book and I was just like, I'm gonna learn Chinese. I don't know what it was. I picked it up and I saw these cool like cultural pages. Look at this. Look at this. It made me want to learn Chinese. So I began like studying Chinese on my own, and at the time, it was so bad. I didn't know how to read pinyin. I didn't know how to do I was trying to learn pinyin through like the little like English sounds on the page, and my tones were all off, and kids in my class thought I was kind of funny because during our like free time, I'd be looking at this book making funny noises and like funny like facial expressions because I'd be trying to pronounce things. And they didn't know what I was doing. They just saw me going like, because I wouldn't make the actual like sound. It was just my face was funny because I didn't know how to pronounce. It was a mess. Question number 3. What languages have you studied and why did you start them? All right, so my first language I actually tried to learn, like I said, was Chinese. That didn't go very well and I didn't get very far, so I stopped. And then when I turned 12 or 13, I started taking Spanish classes at school and I started actually learning Spanish because even though I'm Mexican, I did not speak Spanish and I do not speak Spanish now. So I studied Spanish for 5 years just because I had to pick Spanish or French. And I was forced to take Spanish because I'm Mexican. And then my freshman year of high school, I started learning Japanese. Why? Because I don't know. I don't know what happened. I got super into anime and super into Japanese food, and I just like, I need to learn Japanese now. Like, I have to learn Japanese, and I became very obsessed with Japan. I wanted to study abroad in Japan. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I don't know where that came from. I just loved Japan and Japanese. Moving on to the next language. So after studying Japanese for 2 years, so my freshman and sophomore year in high school, while taking Spanish classes, I decided to pick up Chinese again because I had the opportunity to take classes at my high school. So I was like, this is bae. This is my first love. I gotta. So I stopped studying Japanese at that point, and in my junior year of high school, I started studying Chinese with a teacher. It was great. It was so much fun. I studied Chinese from my junior year of high school up until my sophomore year in college, right before going to Korea. That spring semester that I was supposed to be spending at my university, I started studying Korean because I was gonna be going to Korea. Yeah. So honestly, that is the reason I learned Korean, because I felt I was gonna need it to go to Korea, and I wanted to get the most out of my study abroad experience, which I felt that could only be accomplished if I learned the local language. So I did that, and I'm also very independent, and so I didn't want to have to ask my English speaking Korean friends all the time like, hey, what did they say? Basically, that's why I learned the languages that I've learned and how that came about. Wait, I forgot one. I also started studying German. So last summer I started learning German because I was gonna go to Germany in the winter to visit my friend Laura, and I just thought it would be kind of cool just to learn a little basic German. I didn't get very far. The pronunciation got to me. So yeah, I'm not studying German anymore, but like I tried and it didn't go very well. Question number 4. How does your personality affect how you learn languages? I am very introverted. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily shy, but I'm an introvert. So when it comes to language learning, I perform best, or I learn best with textbooks. I learn with textbooks and video lessons and audio clips That is how I learn. So I know there are people that do really well, like going out and talking to people and like speaking from day one. No. I don't speak from day one. No. And it's not necessarily because I'm shy. I mean, I am a little shy sometimes because I don't want to get things wrong. But what I'm trying to say is I know for a fact that I do better with textbooks first rather than speaking first. Because with speaking, I'm just going to be like, overwhelmed, especially if I don't know words. So, yeah. I also really enjoy learning through teaching people or helping people learn the same language. When people have questions, I like being able to answer them. Or if I don't know the answer, I like going and finding the answer because it helps me better develop my own understanding of the language. And it just helps me learn better. And it's really enjoyable. So that's how my personality, I guess, in whole, helps me learn languages. Textbooks first, and then helping people. Question number 5. Do you prefer to learn languages in a classroom setting or by yourself? I prefer studying languages by myself because I just think it's way more fun that way, and I can go at my own pace in terms of this is easy, let's move on, or this is hard, let me take an extra 2 weeks. In terms of classes, I've noticed that my motivation to learn the language really depends on the teacher teaching the course, and I know that sounds weird and it's not the teacher's responsibility to make me want to learn a language, but I really feed off the teacher's energy. So some teachers, the way they structure the class really makes me want to learn a language, and sometimes other teachers, the way they structure the class makes me want to run and never try to learn that language ever again. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. But I've also noticed with the courses that I've taken, at least like here in my public schools, institutions, is that a lot of the courses are geared to accommodate the slowest learner. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, except for when the slowest learner is the kid that doesn't actually want to learn the language and isn't trying. So when I have to slow down my learning to accommodate the kid that's not trying to learn, the kid that's like, I hate this class, I'm only here because I have to be, that makes me a little annoyed. So classes, just me and classes just don't work well. And I've noticed that a lot of the classes, at least the classes that I've taken, they don't gear you towards colloquial kind of language. Like, yes, you're learning the foundation of the language, but sometimes the way they want you to say things or the way they want you to phrase things is more academic, I would say, rather than everyday type of conversations, which, you know, is fine depending on what you want to do with the language. But for me, since a lot of my language motivation comes from wanting to interact with the people from those countries and just have normal, regular conversations, that doesn't help me much. So that's why overall I prefer learning by myself through self-study. Question number 6. What are your favorite language learning materials? Okay, my favorite language learning materials are textbooks. I'm sure you guys have seen them. You have seen my like Korean bookshelf. It's huge. It's huge because I just love touching books and feeling and like highlighting and writing my own little notes in them. So I have so many textbooks for all kinds of languages, all kinds. Literally only the ones I just told you about. So I love textbooks, number 1. Number 2, I love like Innovative Language online resource place. So if you don't know what that is, that's the company that owns Korean Class 101, like Japanese Pod 101, German Class 101, all those. I love that website and that resource. So I love Innovative Language because they've just made it so easy to learn languages. My third resource that I really love is Memrise, just because it helps me really learn vocabulary. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so question number 6. How much time do you actively spend studying a language per day or per week? I'm sure a lot of you think I study a lot, but I don't, at least not recently. So I'll put up my study tracker so you can actually see how much time I spend learning Korean. But as you can see, I studied a lot at the beginning of the year and then not so much like more recently, because my study time really depends on my short-term language goals. So at the beginning of the year, I was focused on preparing for my TOEIC exam. My TOEIC exam was in April. So as you can see, as it got closer to April, it was like tuk, 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 tuk. And as of course my university semester picked up in terms of exams and projects, my time for Korean also went down. But even now it's the summer, and as you can see, I really haven't studied that much. And that's because right now I'm really just focused on casually learning the language, just enjoying the slow process. And what I mean by that is, yes, sometimes I do pick up my textbook and I read it and it's fun. And sometimes I just look up that one word I didn't understand in BTS's tweet, or when I'm consuming Korean content on YouTube, if there's a phrase or one word that really trips me up, like I understand the situation, but there's that one word that's vital to understanding what they just said and I don't know it, then I'm gonna look it up. But other than that, I'm not like rigorously, intensely studying all the time or anything like that. All right, so question number 8, what are your short-term and long-term language learning goals? I guess I'll start with the short-term. So my short-term goals are to regain my fluency in Japanese, Chinese, and Spanish. Mainly Chinese and Spanish, because since I stopped taking classes, my fluency really has literally done this. Long-term goals, I just want to be fluent in at least one other language. I think being bilingual is literally the coolest thing ever. And I don't really have a preference as to which language I end up being fluent in, but I just hope that I'm fluent in something other than English. Question number 9, what is your favorite language? As many people who study languages, just polyglots in general, they have mentioned that picking your favorite language is like picking your favorite kid. You just know. It just doesn't happen. No. I consider them my children, and I will not pick a favorite. I love all the languages. They're all special to me, and they all have their own memories and things associated with them that make them different from each other to where they're not actually comparable. Question number 10. What is the next language you want to learn? We are gonna say Japanese, because I honestly have forgotten the majority of the Japanese I learned during those 2 years in high school. I have to relearn hiragana and katakana, and I gotta start learning kanji. It's basically like I'm relearning all of it. Question number 11. What advice can you give to new language learners? All right, so I really only have 2 big pieces of advice that I'd like to share, and they're not exactly... So there are really only 2 pieces of advice that I really want to share with you guys. The first one, number 1, is you do not, let me emphasize, you do not need to spend a lot of money when you first start learning a language. I know it's tempting to walk into that name brand bookstore and get that name brand textbook, or buy that nice quality class or program or online something, but really, if you think about it, you don't need to do that, at least not in the beginning. It really breaks my heart when you guys tell me that you want to study Korean or any language, but you don't have the money to do so, and so you don't try. It hurts. It hurts. There are so many resources around you that you can utilize to begin learning a language. You can look online, for starters. There's so many blogs, so many YouTube channels, so many just free resources in general that you can use to start learning a language. Sure, you might have to do a little extra digging, and they're not going to be as perfectly laid out in PDF or something like that as they would be if you paid money for them, but they're there to get you started. And if you're more of like, well, I want to have an actual book, well, you try your local library. There's so many books that are available at libraries. Honestly, I just went the other week and I think I checked out 10 books. Yeah, 10. Just try and use those around you, and if you don't have either of those for whatever reason, then you can try your secondhand bookstore. They might not have that book that you really wanted, but I'm sure they'll have something. Just something. Okay? Okay. And having said that, once you have decided or you feel that you are going to dedicate as much time to this language as you originally thought you were, or that you feel that you were for sure going to be studying this language, it wasn't just all of a sudden I want to study Korean. It's I want to study Korean, I've been doing it, and I know I'm going to continue, that kind of feeling, then sure, go invest in that textbook. Go invest in that program or that class. I'm not saying you should avoid spending money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you first put your toe in the water to see what the temperature is, you don't need to spend a lot of money to figure that out. That's just what I'm saying. And having said that, I will leave free resources in the description box for you guys to go check out. I also have a YouTube like series where I share free resources for learning Korean. If you want to check that out as well, they're like little reviews. But yeah, okay. Number 2, the second thing that I really, really wanted to share with you guys is please, 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 please do not be the first person that tells you that you can't do something. I know that's so cliche, but it's honestly so true, because so many people have told me like, oh, you're just so talented at languages, I wish I could do what you do. This wasn't easy for me, okay? I'm not trying to scold you or anybody, honestly, but I'm just trying to say, like, if you are gonna be the first person that tells you that you can't do something, like, that hurts. Like, why would you tell yourself? Why would you be the first person to tell yourself that you can't do something? There's so many people out there that are gonna tell you that you can't do it. Like, what? Why? Ugh. Okay. Also, on that same topic, a lot of people have said, oh, I'm too old to learn X language. Like, I'm 15, I'm too old. What? Okay, listen. This is a little bit of a rant, but yes, it is scientifically proven that children pick up different sounds more easily than matured adults or matured people. Yes, I will not deny that fact. But other than that, the only advantage I think kids have over people that are older is that they're not afraid to make mistakes. Like, do you see a kid afraid to speak a language? No, they don't have that speaking anxiety that we develop as we get older, okay? We have some advantages too. We know how we learn best. I almost missed my finger. We know how we learn best, and we know how to utilize the resources around us. We know how to do an internet search to go look for Korean resources. We know how to get to the library, and if you don't, you can look it up. How to get to the library. Like, when was the last time you saw a child take themselves to the library saying, I'm looking for a Chinese book? No, I've never, okay, if you have seen a child the age of like 4 and under go into a library by themselves looking to check out a language book because they can actually read and they want to learn, like, dang. But I'm just trying to say, we have advantages too, okay? Just please, don't be the first person that tells yourself that you can't do something. Please. Alrighty, so I hope that was enjoyable for all of you beautiful, beautiful people, and thank you to Kitty Cat Studies for tagging me in this tag. Check out her Instagram account if you like studygrams and you like BTS like fandom stuff, because I mean, it's those two things together, so yay. And I will leave the questions down below if you want to do this yourself, or if you're gonna go tag people on Instagram the way it's actually supposed to be done and I just didn't do that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. So, tama bayo guys. Bye-bye.